If you've moved to Portugal and have kids in school, you may feel like their Portuguese is really starting to improve and you are getting left behind. Well, today I want to encourage you to try to keep up because it is going to be so important. You're going to need to be able to communicate with their teachers or with other parents if they are in school. You're also going to want to know what they're talking about with their friends. One of my students told me that she really hated not understanding the conversations her son was having with his friends when they were doing the carpool. She felt like she'd been demoted to the chauffeur. You don't have to feel this sense of disconnect and feeling left behind as your children start to pick up the language. You can actually make it a fun activity that you can do together. So in today's video, I'm going to give you some ways to do this. So give me a like if you're excited for today's lesson and hit subscribe and stick around if you are looking for help getting confident and conversational in European Portuguese, because that's what this channel is all about. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help people who are relocating to Portugal to go from saying their very first words up to having their first conversations in Portuguese. And so many of my students worry about this very thing, their children overtaking them when it comes to learning Portuguese. We know that kids have these amazing malleable brains where they can just absorb information like a sponge. I actually covered that in this video over here. But essentially what I want to tell you is you don't have to worry about being an adult and it being so much harder. We just need to take a different approach. It's never too late to learn a language, just like I tell you in this video over here. All we need to do is come up with a regular habit of practicing Portuguese, because repetition is going to be the key to building new neural pathways that allow us to master new skills and retain new information as an adult. So how can we involve our kids with this? Well, there are two things that I recommend. Number one, we want to set a specific time of the day that we're going to do this. Maybe it's going to be over breakfast or when they've come in from school and they're having their afternoon snack. And number two, we need to make it fun. Now, it's going to depend on the age of your kids, which of these options that you choose, but I'm going to give you some ideas of how you could study together. So the first option is podcasts. You could try listening to a short children's podcast like Radio Zigzag's Era Uma Vez or Vou-te contar uma história. These are all between 2 and 5 minutes long, so they're perfect for children and for your beginner brain. Afterwards, get your kids to tell you what they think happened in the story and get them to explain some of the vocabulary. So for example, if they tell you that the story was about a pig, ask them, well, what's the word for pig in Portuguese? This way, they are acting like your little teachers while you are also honing your listening skills at the same time. Number two is books. Books are a brilliant way to connect with the Portuguese language and your kids at the same time. Reading aloud is one of the best things you can do to improve your pronunciation, and kids' books are perfect because they're not too long and not too difficult. In my weekly pronunciation workshop with my students, somebody will always bring an extract from a children's book. We've had Peppa Pig, we've had O Príncipezinho, and these are such great ideas. The best thing is, in order to do this activity, you don't actually need to speak Portuguese. You just need to be able to say what you see aloud correctly. Now, this isn't as easy as it sounds. You probably know that there are a lot of pronunciation rules in Portuguese and sounds that are quite tricky to master. So if you haven't done it yet, definitely download my free pronunciation guide from the description. It's a PDF with an accompanying audio that will help you master 7 of the trickiest sounds in Portuguese. Number 3 is games. You can go digital or old school on this, but if you don't mind some screen time, you could try something like Duolingo. This is a paid app and this is not sponsored, but you can get a free 7-day trial and check out some of the games. You can, of course, do really simple fun games with pen and paper as well, like Who Am I?, where you need to ask questions and work out which celebrity or character your opponent is thinking of. You could also try Hangman or Forca in Portuguese, which is also going to help you practice the alphabet and vocabulary. If you need some help with the alphabet, you can check out this video next. Some of my students have even set up WhatsApp threads with their older kids in which they only speak in Portuguese, and they share and describe photos throughout the day. This is another fantastic idea and it costs nothing at all. Number 4 is TV. Of course, TV is a great option if you want to pick something that you and the kids are already familiar with. This is such a great hack because you're going to have to do less work to understand what's going on if you're watching a movie or a popular cartoon where you already know the gist of what's going on. I have to say, I am a big fan of Disney Plus. There is now a ton of dubbed content in European Portuguese. You will just click Portuguese instead of Portuguese brackets Brazil. You can even activate the Portuguese subtitles on a lot of them, so even though they don't match up perfectly, they will help you keep up. Having a regular show that you like to watch once a day with your kids is really going to help your listening skills and your vocabulary. I vote for Bluey. You can also check out the RTP Play app. They have a children's channel called Zigzag, and some of these programs do also have closed captions as well. I hope this has given you a few good ideas for learning Portuguese together with your kids, making them yet another teacher in your life and making sure that you can keep up with their progress. As always, if you are sick of struggling with Portuguese, I can help you get conversational in a matter of months. So please head to the description where you'll find the free taster lesson for my Portuguese Pro program, where you'll get all the information about how to join us. I'll be back next week with more tips and tutorials to improve your confidence and conversation skills in European Portuguese, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Ciao for now.